All right, welcome to some real quick Python. Less me talking, more of the Python. Uh, let's start tying some of these chapter concepts together. Variables, let's tie them with decisions real quickly. We talked about how do you determine if a number is even? Well, in the real world, we just know any number that is divisible by 2 is even, but computers don't understand that. Computers have to understand, you have to give it some kind of computer logic. So, what we can really say is that if I divide a number by 2, and we get a 0 or we get no remainder. More importantly, we divide a number by 2 and we get no remainder or 0's remainder, we know that's even. If we divide a number by 2 and we get a remainder of 1, then we know that number is odd. And we can verify that using Python, what we learned in previous chapters. We can say for, we'll do a modulo division here, divided by 2, and it gives us a remainder of 0. If I say 5, dulo, 2, we get a remainder of 1. No matter what even or odd number we use, we're only going to get a 0 if it's even or 1 if it's odd. Now, let's tie that together with decisions or branches, right? So let me write a really quick little program. Now, our programs are going to get more complicated, so it's easier if I do it in an IDE. We'll keep on going back to the Python interpreter for quick little demonstrations like I did here, but I think it's time to go into an IDE. So let me go to Replit, and inside Replit, I'm going to do some copy and pasting so you don't have to see me mistype all the time. All right. So here I'm going to say I'm going to get a number, and we know input right here. We know that input is going to return a string, so we're going to typecast it to an integer. Right. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to do that Modulo operation. What is that going to return? Well, the remainder, that's going to be an integer. It's either going to be a 1 if the number is odd, or it's going to be a 0 if the number is even. Now, let's tie this together with our branches or our decisions. And decision 1, if remainder is equal to 1, that's an odd. And I'm going to even tie it together with Boolean operation, right? Clean this up a little bit. And I'm going to have a Boolean variable called odd, and I'll set it to true when it's odd. And I'm going to have a Boolean variable called even, and I'll set it to false. We never want to assume what our variables are. So that's why I'm just going to make sure that odd is true, even is false. And then again, tying together previous chapter or the chapter, we're going to say else, and we just kind of flip the logic here. All right. So else is going to say odd is false and even is true. So if we have a remainder of 1, we know that it's an odd number. Odd becomes true, even becomes false. Since we only know there's 2 possible outcomes, 0 or 1, then an else statement could be used, and we say odd now it becomes false, even becomes true. Let's test it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to test again using branching or decisions. I'm going to say if a Boolean operation. So basically, if even is true, we don't have to say equal true because it's a Boolean variable. If it's true, then print the number is true. And I don't want to use an else here. I want to use, for demonstration purposes, its own if statement, its own branch, right? So, and if it's odd, print the number is odd. Real quick program. Now, let's run this. You can see I've already ran it and tested it in previous videos. Here, what is the number? 117. Thank you, Halo. And it says the number is odd. And if I run it again, and this time I'll grade big number. 99, right? 1982, 76354. That number is even. So real quick video, just kind of explaining Python very, very quickly. We're tying together pieces, parts from different chapters there. So let's go and learn something.